All right, ladies and gents, welcome to another best of 3. This is actually the first Titans League Platinum set in Group A, and we have the defending champion. We had Season 1 winner, Vinchester. He had an amazing final, amazing run, and he was a winner of his group, then moved on to winning the whole thing. He is playing up against a player who is promoted from gold. Now, this comment does come with some small potential spoilers, but if you've been following today's action, we had all the sets previously, which are 2 of them, featured a promoted player, and the promoted player did not get 3-0'd. I'll leave it at that, okay? So both promoted players showed that they were not just going to come up from gold and then just get completely spanked. And that was a really big worry for me, and something that'll be interesting to see how it goes as the things progress. Because if you think competitive Age of Empires, you think, well, you've got a lot of big names out there, and everyone else can't really touch them. That seems to be what people are thinking. So we'll see if these gold players can actually, or former gold players can show what they're made of. If you don't know running, he is a player who's more associated with closed maps, as he's TC'd the North here on Nomad. So he's probably not a player who would favorite things like Arabia and whatnot. However, I have always pushed against the comments that running is a quote-unquote clown. People have said that about him, and I've been like, no, actually, he and I played Arabia all the time back in 2018. So I got a story for you. You ready for this? So obviously, I've been trying to improve as a player for a couple years as I've been doing all my content. I first hit 2K2 because I had an 11-game win streak all off of running. And I was like, man, I dominate this guy. And here we are in 2023. And what am I doing? Well, I got knocked out in the second round of silver to a 2K. And now running is in Platinum League. And he was an absolute god in gold. So I'm proud of the guy. But it does kind of make me, when I think about that progression as far as our careers are concerned, it does make me a little sad, you know, just a little bit. Anyways, he's playing the Portuguese. And we should probably talk about specifics of the map because it's Nomad. But I wanted to give history of the players. He used to always play Arabia, switched to more closed maps. He mixes it up, and I think he should not be considered someone who's one-dimensional. He's taking games off of everybody as well on the ladder. So being far away from your opponent is going to make life awkward if you're hoping to be aggressive, right? And so I don't know what the game plan for either player is, but I would say that every time I've seen Portuguese, players have wanted to get a castle down and go Organ Gun. The dock over here for running is actually one of the best docks you could get on this map, Gen, because there's lots of fish. The dock for Vinchester is more towards the edge of the map on the right side. And I would say the beneficial thing about this is that you can't be surprised from this side because you could scout it and see it's landlocked. And so it is this is Titans League 2 Nomad, so it's the second season, but we basically are using the version of Nomad that we created for Wandering Warriors Cup. And I feel it's a superior version of Nomad. It does add in a lot more like luck variants, but it also adds skill elements. Like, look at Vinchester. He's had to scout so much. He's trying to determine where his opponent has docked. And he has already, with sheep, he's going to find out if he continues this way that his opponent has not docked on all these shorelines. And if you were to lose the sheep over here, he obviously would know that running is docked over there. Running trying to do the same thing, because one of the common strategies in 1v1 Nomad, excuse me, sorry. One of the common strategies of 1v1 Nomad is competing for the water before you then transition into land. As far as gold and stone positions, you've obviously got plenty of gold and stone around. That shouldn't really be a big talking point unless we see castles towards the middle later on. And I seem to remember Vinchester picked Bohemians in... It was actually Wandering Warriors Cup, because I have a distinct memory of him playing Nomad. So it must have been a year ago now. Who was he up against? Can someone look at the Wandering Warriors Cup bracket and tell me? I forget. Was it Belgium? Was it Project Belgium? Who am I thinking of? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he was playing Bohemians on some other map. But anyways, it's a map that he's played before Vinchester, and it's a civ that he's played with before. And right now we're seeing a 5th and 6th fishing ship from both players. Well, I guess not the 6th yet for running. But this indicates a fast castle. And a lot of this comes down to they do not feel like there's an immediate threat to their fish. And so if you look at Vinchester, he knows his fish would be safe, so he can justify going for a bit more of the greedy fish boom approach. This likely is going to be some type of fast castle for him then if he's doing that. Running, I think, has taken a little bit more risk because there's more spots that he hasn't found, but he hasn't found anything here. He hasn't found anything here. He hasn't found anything here. So safe to assume that his opponent has docked towards the south. But like, listen, as Vinchester shoots his deer with the down center fire there, I really feel like people who don't play a lot of Nomad really underestimate this sheep scouting aspect and how judging the situation from the scouting is so important. And I love the fact that it ups the skill element to have the potential for landlock and the potential for lakes in the middle. It makes Nomad, and this is coming from an old man like me, who's like, back in my day, we had to walk uphill both ways. But truthfully, I think this makes Nomad Nomad. You cannot change my mind. Ladder version of Nomad is a watered-down version of Nomad where it adds less diversity and less problems to people's lives, which is maybe good for the average player. Because, you know, let's face it, we're not seeing a lot of this level being played on Nomad. People play other maps. But I'm biased. You know, I spent time giving input on this and working on this for a period of like a month. So, you know, it's that can happen. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I don't even have to be right. You know, everyone's got a different outlook on things. And that's fine. Okay. Wasn't it Yo? Yo might have played Bohemians. I just swear I had a distinct memory of Vinchester playing as the Bohemians. Vinchester's going to add another dock here, by the way. Most likely, he's just doing this for fish, but he could always add some navy as well. The thing that makes it really awkward in this situation to add ships is that you want your market and your blacksmith to go fast castle. So I'd be very surprised if either of these players do that. And it's also interesting that running has not gone to stone. I think he would have gone to stone. Oh, shoot. Oh my god, he's got a villager here. Wait, what? Well, this gets interesting for her. But I was going to say he would have gone to stone if he knew his opponent was closer. And then probably drop a castle. But we're not seeing that. Again, guys, $40 per win for the players. What's that? You have potential of 40 times 15. 15 is the max amount of wins you could get in the group stage. And then you have placement prizes. So the players who are first through third move on to round of 12, quarterfinals, all the way towards the final. I think the winner of TTL Season 2 gets like $2,200 before all their games won bonuses. So lots of prize pool on the line. For gold as well, you know, for now that we're talking about kind of prize pool splits, it's $20 per victory. And there is placement prize, but it's not quite along the same lines because it needed to be balanced to a point where we couldn't have players in gold, so like the lower league making significantly more than the upper league, right? So you still want like the worst player in platinum to be able to make a bit more than what the best player in gold could make, because otherwise there could be players who fall into a category of not wanting to be promoted from a prize pool perspective. So that's a balance we have. Obviously, like my long-term vision is if the community at large enjoys this, I would like the prize pool amount to go higher. And if that is higher, then ultimately what we do is I would love silver to have a bit more prize pool. And so basically, obviously a lot more goes to plat, but then it allows more for gold and some for silver as well. So we'll see. All right, so they're both adding ships. This is like fairly standard stuff. I like Vinchester's position with the navy count, but he's not that close to the fish from running. So this game could go really late. And I think if it goes really late, I'd prefer the Bohemians over Portuguese. But I mean, there's so many different factors you'd have to talk about. Running just moved the fish away from here, which is perfect. He now knows exactly where Vinch's dock is, which is perfect. He did have that villager around, but he just walled with her and went home. And we see the War Galley upgrade from both right now. Liquipedia says $15 per win in gold. Oh, that's true. I think what we did... Sorry, it's hard for me to remember all the specifics. I think we changed it to $15 a win, but there's more for the placement prizes in gold. Because we will not have, like, quarterfinals, semifinals, final in gold. It's more deciders to see who gets promoted, right? Like, the whole point of gold is, like, who's going to be those 8 that get promoted. Okay, so better start for Vinch here, but the great equalizer is the demo, and this is hard to pay attention to if you're Vinchester, and boom, big demo there from running. Man, these choke points are just asking for demos. We might see infinite amount of demos in this game if this continues. I guess eventually the fish would run out, and other things people have to focus on, but double monastery still a surprise for me from running. He didn't drop a town center either, and he's made the monks so far away. It just seems like a really poor move, I guess, in my mind, because if the monks were in the middle with some siege to back it up, you're applying pressure to your opponent, and they're struggling in some ways due to that. I just don't see that being the case here. It is dirt cheap to make those monks. Not dirt cheap, but, it's 80 gold to make the monks as Portuguese, so it's not as big of an investment, but still. Might be part of his long-term here. He might want to go fast imp in some capacity, because he's even sold some stone. Love this move from Vinch, who wants to convert ships here. But the demos are actually able to evade Vinchester's conversions. And then when he finally does convert when it's a weak ship. But, I mean, in the end... Oh, boy. Split him up. Nice job, Vinchester. He could have lost 5 ships there. But I guess for running, it wasn't too bad. Now look at the idle TC time from both players. I'm still not quite able to figure out why, with that idle TC time and Vinchester having 2 TCs, he doesn't have a bigger eco lead. It's 3 TCs now. I mean, this Vil count should just continue to climb. And we've got 4 monks for running, 1 relic, about to be 2. But, like, where are those monks actually going to go? I guess he's going to be here. It's so funny, though. Atonement is going to surprise Vinchester so much here. What a crazy tech to get. Vinch should delete that monk. I'd rather die than move to your horrible religion. And the relic is there for running, but... Oh god, he actually could convert this villager as well. But he's not going to before the monastery completes. Okay, running still holding that position. Remember, most of his fish are in the north now. That's not that big a deal. And now a villager's been converted. Vinchester's got the super speedy Bohemian villagers because of the monastery text. And now he's just going to go for atonement as well. So we are going to see a monk war. Dude, come on, Tom. This isn't all-in monasteries, okay? Running is not going all-in monks. But yes, I did say he wasn't a clown, and he is going monks. He's got 4 monks. Those villagers weren't happy about that, and they're unhappy with her. They're like, hey, remember when you used to be fast? Yeah, you were on the good side. You're not so fast anymore, idiot. They'll kill her. Still going to be a fast imp for running. We might actually see Fatorias in this game, guys. It might not all be based around monks. I'm sure monks are going to play its role. And finally, Vinchester seems to be making some progress here, but it's like every time, running's probably just going to pop out a demo out of this dock. And there's Imp now. Let me check something real quick. I can never sense this in-game in these situations. Watch the score for running. After all these years, I've never been able to keep track of these in these types of situations. Okay, so he clicks Imp and his score goes down by 200. I wonder if Vinchester is paying attention to that. Now, there's not really much you can do, right? Like, you're stuck on all these town centers. You might as well produce and add farms and eventually get the food income to go Imp yourself. But, just something to think about. Vinchester's naturally going to have a higher score because he has more on water. And he's naturally going to have a higher score as well because he's got more villagers. And Vinchester did add a dock here to squeeze in a few more fishing ships. Still fishing here, of course. But, running is just going to focus this on lands now and try and push an early imp. They both have Atonement. And so they're both going to continue to go monks here. And this could be awkward for Vinchester. Like, if I saw my monk get converted, I would be adding more monks continuously or adding a stable. It's, of course, easy for me to say that. This is going to be interesting. And, ooh, running. So he completes his castle. He converts a monk. And now Vinchester's dropping a castle here, but that can just be trapped down. I'll be honest, guys. Like, there's a really good opportunity here for running. By the way, that's one of the weirder things that's common for people to say. I think it's just a saying that I've grown accustomed to saying. But I'll be honest. Like, what does that mean? That I'm not being honest the rest of the time? No. I'm especially being honest when I say community games aren't rigged, by the way. But yeah, I say that a lot. And I don't think it stands out to people as weird, but there's just one of those phrases. If you think about it, it's like, that's kind of weird. Running's gonna kill the boar. He's like, we need food. We traveled all the way here and built a castle. We deserve some meat. Block printing on the way. First Treb's on the way from running. Very curious to see if he'll add a Feitoria. It feels like he's got the res for it. Like he's balanced this. He's gonna do it right now. Losing fish. Why not make a Feitoria? Boom. Takes up 20 pop space. Brings a trickle of all resources. Vinchester's idling his TCs. He's desperate to click up. And it seems to me like he knows he's going to lose this castle. So he's dropping another castle to buy time. I think what you need is you need light cav, right? Like light cav is the answer to the monks. Or you just add your own monks. And remember that useless unique tech video I made? You know that unique tech that that the Bohemians have where their monks cost food? Unattainable. You need to go to Imp. It's like 1,600 resources. If you're in a position to ever research that, you're in a position to make other things, right? Monk plays normally are low eco. So we're not going to see food monks. Whoops, just clicked something on my mouse. Sorry. And Treb should continue to come out here from running. And it's just monks and Trebs. Monks and Trebs. Monks and Trebs. Converts a Vil. She's going to die now. Wait, is she fat? Did he get the Bohemian speed after converting that Vil? Wait. Why didn't that happen before? Wait a second. Guys, when you convert a Bohemian Vil, does it keep the speed? What's this say? Does it have the speed here? 0.8, 1.11. No, I'm crazy. What? Maybe it's just they're so much faster than the monks it seemed like that. What is Vinchester's plan? He's adding archer ranges. Okay, well, I guess you could go like skirmishers. I'm very confused by that lady. I really hope that running makes her do something again. Also, great job from Vinch. Thank God you get all those upgrades. All the mining upgrades, because he's really been able to keep this castle going. The previous one, was it reconverted? I don't know. It says 0.8 on capture age with the speed, and these villagers say 1.11. Hymax says it will keep the speed until it's tasked to something else. Oh, that's interesting. So once you send her to do a job, she's slow again. Oh, let's watch it. Yeah, she did something. Wait, does that mean resources or does that just mean text? Or not text, crap. I'm getting so excited I can't speak. Resources. Let's see. Does it mean resources or does it mean like building something? Huh. By the way, 14 monks. Heresy was just researched by Vinch, so anything that's converted now will die. Can you please move this villager running? I don't even care about the rest of this. And yes, I'm a procaster. Don't make jokes. I don't like the idea of making a bombard cannon. Like, and I don't like the idea of going ranged units. I would have preferred to have seen stables and maybe then bombard cannons. Okay. I mean, 225 wood and 225 gold donation coming here to running. Well, it's not really a donation, I guess. Yeah, because it wouldn't change sides. But I will say this about Vinch. He's got good production right now. He is housed, which goes against what I just said about good production. But you know what I'm saying. He's got Bracer now, and it's going to put Running in a position where he's really got to work hard with the conversions. But that's all he's focusing on. And he's constantly moving forward, and he's always ready for conversions. But is he paying attention? Is he actually ready? Am I wrong? 1 monk, 2 monk, 3 monk, 4 monk, 5 monk, 6 monk. Can I get a 7? We've got a 7. Calling on 8. We've got 8. Can I get a 9 here? We got 10 monks in the back. And then we got the front. We got the monks. And I can't be an auctioneer. I'm so sorry. And oh my god. Where are the monks at, Running? Oh, shoot. Oh, god. That was really costly. I mean, he is going to get the castle up. He can still make more monks. He will kill all the crossbows. Zoom! There go those villagers. He's getting who needs it. What? Okay, how many Fetorias, by the way? We have 2 Fetorias here, plus 3 relics. I think, honestly, what's hurting Running right now is the fact that he doesn't have his monasteries more forward. If he had 3 forward, that'd be so good. This isn't bad, though. Vinchester wouldn't mind it if, I mean, at least the castle completes, and then Trebs are sent this way, though, because Vinchester's going to mass to defend from this push here. And castle should go up, but I guess, like, even just 2 Trebs here, and this castle still goes down, and all those villagers die. You also, since there's no murder holes, could just sit the organs underneath the castle. Vinch just lost all of his crossbows here. He's massing some cannons here with the crossbows. Still no arbalest. He's kind of low on gold. Sorry, not low on gold, but like low in long-term gold income. Because he's got this area, and that's it. Well, until these villagers zoom around. That doesn't even seem real. The speed always catches me off guard. But okay, castle will go down. Also an archer range here, which Running saw. So he just drops a castle at home, which is probably pretty smart here. Running only had monks before. He's got more than just 1 organ gun to accompany this now. And could still convert the army from Vinch. And Running's population, at least says it's pretty high. But that obviously is due to the fact that he's got the Feitoria population. Running's kind of pulling back, and Vinchester has a group of crossbows here. He's getting quite a few kills. You can really see how awkward it is to use the monks now, and I think Vinchester's pulling ahead. Heresy was a pretty good play. He's now got his position here to push this castle back. And I just do not see how Running can convert enough. Vinchester's able to make enough crossbows. Vinchester's going to clear this up so we can take those resources again. And the GG is called. And for Running, like, I'm just a little surprised that he attempted this with how far apart the players were. There is a world where he attempted this because he didn't feel like Portuguese really had a chance if they didn't try it. I did mention earlier in this game that I think that Bohemians are just better if it goes late game in Standard. So that was probably part of it for Running, but he probably would have wanted the players to be closer together, so the initial castle drop could have been part of his strategy. And Vinchester, even though it got a little messy here or there, he defended nicely on water. His eco was beautiful. And ultimately, he knew exactly what he needed to do. And he just needed a little bit of patience, which is all you need against those fast imp pushes. So we've seen a lot of the Portuguese so far in Platinum. Different situations, but Portuguese game 1 didn't work out there for Running against the champ. Vinchester collected 14,000 more resources. But all of this felt a little weird, like Vinchester not even having Arbalest. It didn't make it feel like he had an economy that was as big as it was. Like, I think he's just got too many villas in queue. He could have easily had Arbalest. Could have been faster to, like, more units. Could have maybe even had stables, too. But, like, Eco's Eco, right? And with Eco, you can make good military. And the monks just didn't hit their timing there. GG. Man, I'm so excited to see, or to have Fortress back in the in a tourney map pool. It's been a bit since we've had Regicide Fortress. So welcome. Game number 2. This is the home map for Running. And Bengalis seem like the go-to civilization here for a lot of players who like this map. So to familiarize yourself with the settings here, you start with more than the standard amount of villagers. You start with pre-built farms, castle, walls, tower, barracks. Also, your starting resources are different from normal Age of Empires 2 because it's a regicide start. And obviously, if you lose this king, you lose the game. So that is very much a talking point. So got to keep an eye on that bad boy. For now, though, the king is going to be scouts for them. Now, let me tell you some details that you guys probably have never heard about the map gen here, because we have made some tweaks. Shout out to T West for the help, by the way. So we balanced the neutral golds. So they're usually spread out. You can't make promises with neutrals. We balanced the positioning of like the barracks and the castles and the berries, because basically an issue that classic Regicide Fortress had was the barracks was like on top of certain resources at times, or like adjacent to castle or berries. The positioning of the barracks would sometimes hurt. And then the other main thing, and I actually should make sure I fact check this. This is kind of funny. Vinchester's like, we're not ready for the food yet, so we're just going to wait so we can be as efficient as possible. But yeah, the other thing is I think the castles are almost always on the front. Now, that was something I discussed with T West, and I forget if we actually implemented that. But sometimes you would have a situation in Fortress, in fact, it was common, where your castle would be near the back, and that wouldn't actually be very good if like your gold was forward. So yeah, just things to think about. Running. You see the king? We thought about it. Oh man, the tower hit the king a couple times. The king is faster though, so the king should always be able to get away there. Guys, I don't know how many of you saw this. So Nilly, who's playing in Gold League, he's been playing best of 11s like every day, and I think he's even doing one now. But he's basically practicing for Gold League against a lot of players. And he was playing against freaking Andy and Regicide Fortress. And his king, let's say, was here, and he was trying to get home. And freaking Andy's scout was attacking his king, and Andy brought in his own king and was blocking Nilly's king. And he took it down to like 10 HP. Like he was using a king to block the other king so the scout could get the hits. Like it almost worked. Like at one point, Nilly had to delete a piece of wall so he could get home safely to a tower. It was that close. And I love Nilly, but I'm not going to lie. I was really hoping he would have lost that thing, because that would have been one of those epic moves ever. So I was a little bummed that didn't happen there for freaking Andy. Okay, plus 2 villagers here for Bengalis. Boom. You get 2 villagers out of your town centers, out of each town center when you arrive to the next age. And what I haven't talked a lot about is the poles, actually. Vinchester picked poles. I think this is the first time I've ever seen poles in Regicide Fortress. But, you know, you get some gold income from mining stone. You get 10% of your farm's food when you build farms around the folwark. And we're talking Titans League Season 1 champion. Vinchester's, I think he's been top 5 for the last year and a half. He's super good in everything he plays in. Unfortunate thing for him, obviously, with like 2 lands happening in the last like 6 months, is he hasn't been able to go. So sucks for him there. But yeah, I mean, I really think Vinchester, who has to be more careful now, I think he's going to be able to manage the pulls. I don't think it's your traditional pick. And I think I would have preferred the Chinese. He did have Chinese on his draft, but I do remember a game with, I think, Doubt versus Hera, where Doubt used the Bengalis to beat the Chinese. And again, Hera didn't make a single skirm. I don't think he played that properly, but maybe that was in the back of Vinchester's mind. Anyways, expect a lot of economy here. The kings are going to go into the towers now. Stay safe. And we're going to see 2 more villagers come out for running. So the other relevant bonus for the Bengalis is their monks have additional armor. So it's, I don't want to say a guarantee to get relics, but it's just much easier to get relics as the Bengalis. And you have a guaranteed Vil lead. And one of their better units, because there's always a question of what do you make with the Bengalis, right? One of their better units is the Ratha, and you start with a castle. So this is the map. If there was any map for the Bengalis to be maybe the go-to on, it would be Regicide Fortress. Okay, question for you all. So, a bit of background before the question, because clearly I want you guys to agree with my point. So as long as I've been around, Regicide Fortress has been a thing in Age of Empires 2. It has always been played on Regicide resources. There has always been Regicide, which basically means there's a king. That's the only capacity in which I've ever seen Regicide played prior to the ranked ladder. And yet, if you ever see Fortress on the ladder and it gets voted in from time to time in ranked, it's not Regicide Fortress, which means the starting resources are different, and then there's no king. So do you guys think it would make sense to have Regicide Fortress in the map pool? Yes or no? I'm a definitive yes. From like a strictly like ode to the times, from a historical standpoint, you know, again, like every single time you've ever seen Regicide in Age of Empires 2 in anything ever prior to DE, it was always Regicide Fortress. There's never, ever regular Fortress in anything. I very much think that the answer is yes there, but maybe there's a reason for no, and I'd like to hear it if there is. I think it'd be fun. I think you, like, imagine, like, we only see pro players with Regicide. We rarely see King Snipes. Imagine, like, 1100 elo. Now, I've spoken about this. I've given this opinion, and yet we have to see a change there. But I would like to think, because I fought for 2 hard years to get Spec Chat, maybe if I raise my voice about this a little bit more, we could actually have Fortress. Dude, I think it'd be so fun. Because if I ever get into a tournament, I'm going to have to play meta. But if there's ranked Fortress, dude, I'm going to try and get so many King Snipes. Can you imagine low elo? The comeback potential, mid-elo, it'd be so good for the game, man. All right, keep an eye on the Vil count here. 43 seconds of TC idle time versus 7 seconds. So Running's done a better job at keeping Vils working. Vinchester, obviously, it's just more awkward for him because he has to have the farms around the full works. He's working on that now. Can he not farm these trees? That might be something we need to take a look at. I can't actually test that as a caster, but I'm going to assume that he can't farm around those, which is... Well, then again, he didn't farm around this, so who knows? The monastery is super delayed from running, and we haven't had a monastery from Vinchester yet either. But we have the Bengalis doing their thing. I want to see if running sees anything of importance here. He sees the TC, he sees the gold, and he sees the gold. Running's definitely going to be in a worse spot if there's ever any forward castles against him because of the forward stones and golds here. I think they don't do it because they want all starts to be the same in RM in terms of resources. Well, they also have mega random generations that give you Fatorias and 5 houses. Yeah, Fortress itself also starts with pre-built farms. I think even starting with more villagers, right? My guess is it's... So here's the thing. So you have maps in Age of Empires, and you have settings you play the maps on, all right? I'm going to give you some info. So I think their issue is, they're like, all of our ranked maps are played under the same settings. And so we can't do it, because Regicide influences the settings. But guess what? We know... I say we because I'm assuming you guys watch community games. You can actually load kings into the map scripts. It doesn't have to be based on the settings of the game. That was really questionable from Vinchester to try and take a Bengali monk there. It did have Sanctity, though. So Sanctity came in, which gave even more HP there to running. But yeah, so you can't use the settings as a example because you could actually preload it into the scripts. If they need to ask me for the maps, I will make sure we get the maps. Maybe that's what I need to do. Okay, let's set a deadline, okay? Let's set a deadline. How long do you think it could take me to get this changed? If at all. Because I think it might never happen. I'm going to say... I'm going to try and make it happen by June. I'm going to give them the map. I'm going to say, hey, guys, I think this would be really cool. We've adjusted the starting resources. We've given the kings. We even balanced it for overall balance. Only use this for what? 2 years? Okay, I'm going to try it by June. Because by then, I've been saying it since 2019, so it will have been like 4.5 years. It might never happen. But this is... Mark it down on your calendars. This is the time that I brought it up. 70 villagers versus 74. Vinchester has caught up. I like how Vinchester was going to wall in the relic. He is going to go try and get that, but now running has 2 scouts, which is going to be super annoying for Vinch. It's 1 relic right now for running, and Vinchester now loses a Vill because he doesn't have Loom, but now it's just 1 scout. And Vinchester's now going 2 stable scouts behind this, so he really wants some map control. And I don't think that's a bad thing. Running, by the way, could take out a farm if he really wants to be annoying. Running, boop the farm. Okay, he's focused over here. Makes sense. He starts to get the conversion, and Vinchester needs to delete. Yep, smart move. And Running's also going to make some Ratha here. And remember, these things have a melee mode, so they can kind of attack like a knight. And that can lead to villagers going down pretty quickly, but Monk's going to go down as well here. Well played from Vinchester. Good play all around here, guys. 85 Vills apiece. 1-to-1 with relics. I think it's actually harder for Vinchester to play this because he has to place the farm so perfectly. But that could just be me speaking from my experience with farms. But still, you've just got to think more about how you place things. You don't have to do that as much with running. So, very, very well placed farms, I have to say. Ratha dies. Whoa, 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 whoa. Why have I never noticed this? Watch how the Ratha flies backwards off of his cart. What? Has it always been like that? That's the best death animation ever. That goes up there with turtle ships falling into the sea and caravels falling into the sea. He jumps to his death. Maybe he wouldn't have died if he would have just fallen. Hold on, one more time. This is the content you guys come here for. Look at him jump. He gets air, man. Ready? Look, he dies. Just freaking jumps 3 feet in the air. Dang. Maybe we can get a side-by-side with that, caravel, and then turtle ship all going down, and people can vote what is the most satisfying. Anyways. I don't know how I've never noticed that before. It must have been the angle. I'm really excited for more Ratha to die now. We'll see if that actually ends up happening as both players are closing in towards Imp. Maybe he was trying to jump away from his cart. You know, he realized he was going to die if he stayed. I don't know. Man, I love the positioning from Vinch. He knows he wants to use mobility with the stables. He doesn't need castles towards the middle to go for an early push. That's more of what his opponent's going to do. So he is placing very safe castles, and even with extra stone there, that's going to be so nice for him. Imagine being Vincher running, watching this back later to see what T90 thinks of their play, and they see this. Well, I'm doing them a favor, because they don't have time to appreciate those things, because they're so focused on their amazing play. So I'm sure they'll appreciate it an awful lot. It's not like that's all we're talking about here. As Vinchester's going for archers, but also getting Slacha privilege, so maybe thinking of a combination of stable and ranged units. But this is more along the lines of the thing that you're expecting from the Bengalis. A slightly better imp timing, the first castle goes forward, and then going for the push. By the way, running does have his king inside of his castle, and I've watched one too many Regicide games where players have accidentally sent their kings forward into their army. So that makes me nervous for him. He's got 1, 2, 3, 4 TCs. He's going to complete the 5th before Imp. So he's going to get a spike of 10 villagers on top of what he already has. I really like adding the additional TC before Imp. It's really smart. And also, you're going to want a town center there to protect your gold anyways if you're going to get raided. But this game for running is all about pushing through the middle. And it's all about Ratha so far from what I'm seeing. Just watch that Vill count and even watch the score for running. I guess you can't do both at the same time. But boom, big boost. That's a nice little eco lead for him on top of having the relics. Ballistics is in for him. Vinchester doesn't care. Vinchester dodged. And this guy's carting away. He's like, don't mind me, guys. It's so good. I want to watch it die. You know why I'm looking at it. Yeah, look at him jump. He got impaled by the tree. That's insane. How did no one ever point that out to me? Okay, a little bit of a raid here from running. He's actually going to stonewall the map. Running showed in Gold League that he was worthy of getting promoted, obviously, in this format. But just like question over everyone who's promoted. It's like, can they deal with the test that will come when they face up against the best of the best? We've got Elephant Archers. Interesting. You know, I've always felt like Elephant Archers are really good if you can get a mass of them, but it's more of a time thing. Nice raid. Just to deny a stable or two, but no real value there from that raid. Vinchester seems really uncertain on what he's going to go for, and it kind of bothers me how delayed he's been with some things. Like, he's got archers, for example, but he's just now getting crossbow. He's in imp now. This is amazing, though, and this is the type of thing running wants to avoid. Look how serious he's taking it, turning it into an arena. But this still open over here. I'd love to see Vinch send a few vills. Like, if you know this is open and you know he's stonewalling, send a few vills and build stables in that corner. Obviously, you do have to build up and defend from this, though, so it really limits how much you can focus on as we have Elite Elephant Archer. Okay. It's a tanky unit. Very hard to kill. There's Trebs to back it up, and there could even be another forward castle here from running. Oh, Cavalier running around this way. Cavalier raiding this way. The Wrath are faster, so I guess they're going to go deal with that. That's kind of good thinking there. And now you see the desperation move here from running to try and wall that up. He will kill this, so the raid will be stopped. And now you have Vinchester diving in to take out the Trebs. Will he get Trebs plural? It looks like he'll get 2, which I think is more than worth it. Remember, his cav are super cheap. Guilds already for Vinchester. He's got lots of gold available. Interesting that he's rushing guilds over some of the ranged upgrades. He's still got crossbows without fletching. And crossbow is definitely not the unit against Elephant Archer. I mean, I know they don't have upgrades, but how stupid does that look? The castle's now going to help. Vinchester's got to be careful here, man. That's a lot of Elephant Archers. And the weakness of Polish Cav is that they don't get the final armor upgrade. So they die a lot faster in these situations. What? The Cav are melting, man. And he's got more elephants on the way. The main thing he's missing right now is Trebs. These Ratha are going to switch to melee mode, and they're going to take out the Trebs, which means running will hold this position. And Vinchester, it doesn't look like he really knows what to do at the moment. How do you kill these Elephant Archers from the Bengalis? The Monk's going to go down. I like how they just go underneath the castle. They don't even care. Dang. Yeah, the castle does nothing. Vinchester's really, really made some mistakes here, though. Like, you've got to have some ranged upgrades on the castle at least. But I think it's fair to say that he wasn't expecting this type of unit, and he certainly wasn't expecting Polish Cav to die so quickly. Like, how many times do we see Poles be able to obliterate people with the Cav spam and only the Cav spam? He does have 9 stables. Now, he's building some of them, and they're all kind of split up. But still, running's just sitting underneath the castle. And he's got to be careful. His king is actually back here. As we see running now looping to this side. Now, he doesn't know about this castle. He's probably trying to castle there himself. So that won't work out. But he will take out Vinchester's castle. As the KD from running just gets better and better and better. I mean, this is before we see the potential of the Halb switch. These Elephant Archers seem unstoppable. Hello? Running Waltz is underneath the TC from Vinch. That's not something you see every day, and I guess he's just going to drop a castle here. Yeah, we took the back roads to get there. Sorry we took so long. You know, we saw there was a traffic jam over here through the middle with all the elephants, so... Dang. I mean, it got really messy here, right? Really fast. But I feel like if this castle goes up for running, I'm not seeing anything from Vinch that shows me he can stop this. Anytime he sends a unit forward, it just dies. And this castle obviously will come at a cost. The running's been able to get a lot of time here. But let's see. It might not be able to complete the castle. Vinchester's castle will likely go up. Had running sent the villagers to the through the middle and just dropped the castle here, it would have gone up a long time ago. So that's sloppy from running there, giving Vinchester an opportunity. We have pikes now coming in. Not pikes, but pikes. the unique tech, which I think adds, shoot. I think it's attack speed to the Bengali elephants. I think it's all elephants attack faster. 20% faster or something. Sorry, I still get confused on some of the newish techs. And you can see now Vinchester, by the way, this was always walled up. I'm sure you noticed it. But he's trying to raid from this angle. So he's now thinking of stables on the side. Certainly something he had an opportunity to do earlier, remember. But he was so worried about the middle. And who can blame him? And Vinchester just now getting fletching. Still big standout mistake for me. I mean, how much would it have really helped? I don't know. But, you know, the time invested into making the crossbows and the resources and then not having the upgrades, certainly the big standout for me here. And I know this castle got denied, but it still could be completed. We might see running bring all these villagers forward and just hit this because it's at 87%. Halba's now in. We have Mahayana. Now that means the villager population... Let me think how to word this. So, your villagers take up 10% less population, which allows you to produce more army. So he's going to get, what, like 14 more pop space? 10% of 141. Obviously very helpful right now because he has overboomed a little bit. KD, it continues to impress me. Running continues to move in. And it almost feels like, you know, Vinchester isn't one of the fastest players in the game right now. It feels like he's not doing a lot, but it's because he can't, right? Like, he's got to spend so much time expanding, and he hasn't been able to address this death ball. And that's what this map brings. It brings a lot of death ball situations to the game. And now he's going to have 141 villagers and 60-some army. And it's Halberdier combined with the Elephant Archers. This is genuinely an amazing opening here. Oh, God, now a Bomber Cannon goes down for Vinch. Vinch is in trouble. Again, a promoted player against the winner of Season 1. The best player in the first season in the entire world. Running comes in here. And Game 1, obviously, he gave it his best shot. But Game 2, he's clearly in a position where he could beat anybody if he continues to play like this. He's going to take more gold, and he's going to take the win. For Vinchester, it was a question of, like, how is he going to play the poles? I wasn't too impressed with how he played it. I think there were maybe a few more things he could have tried. But we knew Bengalis would be tough. And great job there from Running. He gets his victory. And very, very smooth, strong performance here. So there's a trend so far. We obviously don't know what happens in this next game. But small spoilers. This is the third straight set now where we haven't seen a sweep. And every set has included a promoted player from Gold who's coming to Platinum for the first time. So there's a theme here, man, that these players, at least on one map, they're going to have the skill and they're going to have the strategy to be able to beat you. Now, Bengali seemed like one of the #1 picks here. There is a question of, do you want to ban that out in drafts in the future? I think we could definitely see that. There's 2 global bans on the Civ draft in this season. So a total of 4 bans. Each player gets a ban 2. So maybe you want to ban Bengalis next time if there's Regicide Fortress. But 64,000 resources collected. More wood, more gold, more stone. Or sorry, not more stone there, but more gold and more wood at least for Running. Still, though, I don't know what Vinch was thinking. I don't think he knew what he was going to be up against. The crossbow, no fletching move was certainly weird to me. And I think there's a world where if he never adds the ranges in the first place, he just has 3 more stables. And he could have had more cav, which kind of stopped Running from getting some positioning and some control over this game. Which could have potentially led to more raids and whatever else. So not having a strong opening to Imp against that strong of an opening is probably the biggest weakness there in Vinchester's play. But GG's. So far, we'll have one more game. Game 3, I'm very surprised by the civilizations here. Let me just look at the drafts real quick. Did no one have Japanese? Running had Japanese. Okay, so Italians as well. I guess Lithuanians was banned. Anyways, this was not the Civ matchup that I would have predicted. Hindustanis. I talk about it all the time, how they can kind of play out in any setting. But the Mongols is a bit more of a surprise to me. Obviously, you can have the hunt. And the hunt's great, but this map is more about fish. The players are actually pretty close together. The map is crossed. This is Vinchester's home map. And Running will be very happy with this already. Like, even if he loses this game, he got a win off of the winner of Season 1. So probably the hardest player for him to beat, he got a win off of, which will bode well for him going forward. I also think it, like, so far has been a testament to the format, but also our player base, that we've been able to see these gold players who become platinum players and come in super motivated. You know, these players might be training a little bit harder too. They have a lot more to prove, and they've proven it so far. Obviously, I think Vinchester will be fine if he ends up winning this of the 2-1, but if he goes 1-2, I think Vinchester only lost 2 games out of 15 in the first season. Someone might need to fact check me. I think he was 13-2. He lost 1 game against Leary, and then he would have lost like 1 other game. Oh, God, it's been so long now. I forget who the other loss was against. He might have even 3-0'd Leary, because that was the group that had Vinch Leary, and I remember Vinch was number 1 and Leary was number 2. Obviously, Vinchester then moved on and ended up winning the whole thing afterwards too, so. And MapGen's certainly pretty good for Running here if he knows what to do with it. Like, something you always want on this type of map is you always want an additional woodline near the edge of the map, so you're able to wall it, instead of having to go for a full wall, which would be a big investment. Nice job there from Running with his boar. But yeah, I mean, he could wall this off to protect his fish. He then could wall this off, and he's got his berries, and he's got his gold. This is super good map. Vinchester has a scouting bonus with the Mongols, and yet decided to lumber camp the smallest little thing of wood that he could have found. I think this would probably have been a better position. In fact, it would have been a perfect position, but this is more along the lines of your standard open, need to play aggressive type of map for Vinch. And he could also wall this off too, by the way. So he's got some wood lines to help him out. Usually the Mongols are going to be feudal faster, but the Mongols aren't going to have as many fish. So that's kind of what I'm expecting to see here. I was not expecting to see Running get Loom right now. That's super early Loom. Normally you're only going to see Loom if you think a villager's exposed when walling, which could have been what Running was thinking here, or right before Feudal. So maybe he was just concerned that this would be an issue. Vinch does pick civs in weird spots, but Vinch has kind of shown me enough over the years. Well, let me put it to you this way. There was a time where Vinch wasn't considered top 5, top 6, and his civ picks just made me shake my head. For years, he'd like picking Goths all the time, and like Slavs, and all these civs no one else wanted to pick. But these days, it's hard for me to doubt him because of how freaking good he is. But I mean, we'll see if he can make the most of Mongols here. Man, that Loom upgrade from Running saved a villager there. It's probably part of his thinking, and he is going to drop off to go Feudal. Vinchester's already done so. Vinchester with 3 fish in his pond. Running has found Vinchester. Vinchester was very late to finding Running. And remember the previous series, how rough it looked for the player who had just gotten a win on a closed map. Let's see what Running's able to do. Now Vinchester's like, wait a second, he's fully walled his pond? What? Okay, well, I can't get a dock up there, I guess. I think an underrated move. Look, you're behind walls. I think an underrated move here is full wall and just add like 3 or 4 more fishing ships and delay any barracks or stable. And then add it later. Just be greedy. I think Running's going to do that. Also, I like the full walling in front of the TC because scouts could always run past it. Now, Vinchester's going to see this, and Vinchester's like, all right, fine. I'll just add more fish at home as well. And he is also going to add the scouts. Yep, Running's just adding fish. Interesting, interesting. Now, Vinch has always been one to experiment. You know, he truly didn't really draft well for this particular map, though, if you look back at his Civ draft. Which is weird. You get 2 bans, and then you get 5 picks. There's only 3 games played. So you've got some leftover picks. Running's gonna find a Vil. This is his starting scout. Getting a Vil pick here when he's being greedy behind walls would be epic. Vinch doesn't have Loom! What the... Vinchester! What in the world is that? Keep in mind, he's adding scouts. Very sloppy from him. He's on 6 fishing ships. His opponent's about to be on 7 on 1 pond. And I'd say that was a bit of a gift there. Like, obviously, partial gift to running. Maybe a late Christmas gift that he got pretty good map to wall up. He's played it perfectly. He hasn't taken any risks whatsoever, which is a style thing. Some people take lots of risks against the better player. But I think Hindustanis, you want to go lower risk because their Castle Age onwards is pretty strong. There's no stone in here, so we probably won't see the Golem. And we're going to see an archer range. And look at Vinchester. He wants to know what's in there. He's like, what do you have? But realistically, you should use the scouts to just control the other pawns. So the thing that will be questionable in the long term for running is the fact that he's not going to take the other pawns. So I think what running's thinking, though, is I'm going to win the game or get a massive lead by sneaking in some army. And then he might have the pawns, but I'll have him on land. That's kind of his thought process. As we see stone now for Vinchester. Interesting. Why would he go stone here? Is he going to try and go Fishboom into Mangudai? I think he's going to try Fishboom into Mangudai. Look at Vinchester's perspective. He doesn't see anything. Okay, the gate would freak me out. The gate would definitely make me paranoid. Because if he's making a gate, that means he wants to leave. And also running deleted a wall, re-walled it, and is going to try and sneak a Vil. Vinchester's looking for that possibility down here. He now sees the Spearman. Look at Vinchester's wood count. He's planning on eventually spending that wood on fishing ships, but he hasn't been able to do so yet. As running actually gets really good engagements here. Oh, he kills 2 scouts. 3 scouts! Dude, running's value has been insane this game. And sure, I mean, it's been sloppy from Vinchester, but like, how many times have you seen someone like Viper or Vinchester or Leary or someone get crazy value when they're being greedy? The best of the best do that. This villager here from running, though, does get picked off. Well played from Vinchester. Now he's got the fish in queue. Now he's got the fish in queue. But does he know what's coming? I'm running here. Running's just got 2 archers and a spearman. With no fletching, this is going to give Vinchester enough time to be able to add towers. Not something you want to do, but something you're probably going to have to do. I mean, the thing is, you never know if fletching's on the way or if there's more archers, so he runs away here. Okay. I don't know, man. Like, obviously, Vinchester's going to have the lead with fish, but faster Castle Age can do a lot. And I'm really liking how running is playing. I think he's played his situation as perfect as you can. Killing some villagers. The only thing that is missing now is what his next step is going to be. And I think his next step is actually going to be to take the southern pond. And here you have him killing a scout. He's still... Okay, fletching's about to pop. So he should kill 1 villager. He won't deny the tower. Could actually kill more than 1. Okay, so Eco KD's 2-1, though Vinchester has more Eco. Tower's at 90%. Running realizes that's not going to work, and running backs away. And he now knows his opponent's on gold, which could, of course, mean Mangudai. Lovely move to send 2 Vils and a Spearman. If there's scouts, that's going to survive. Excuse me. Skirmishers, quick walls, Vinchester buying time, backing away. Doesn't really need the gold for now. And running's going to go double dock in the south, which probably means Vinchester will lose down here, but we'll see as Vinchester tries to quick wall from the Spearman. There he goes. It's normally a pretty easy quick wall against the Spear, but he's got to worry about this too, and he loses a villager now. I'm going to look at resources collected when Vinchester hits castle. I'm very curious on that. Also, no War Galley upgrade for running. He decides to go for Bodkin and Crossbow with only 6 archers. And his opponent has skirms as well. So that's a little bit of a surprise to me. I think a lot of players are going to prioritize the War Galley upgrade at home. But maybe he feels like he's going to win this without that. Great job from Vinch, who ends up clearing up the majority of the threat of crossbows. And he might clear up all of them, actually, as he just walks past... Oops, misfires. And running with the nice little house wall here. That's enough to get his crossbows out of here, though. Nice play. Might even see him get a little shot in. Vinchester's going to drop a castle. He's got no land army in a second. And he drops it on his town center. Oh, sheesh, man. But he's going to make some step lancers. He's going to rely on Mangudai. So you've got two options here if you're running. You either camp the castle, or you just go kill Vils elsewhere as quickly as possible. But I think camping the castle is fine, because even if you lose your army, you're delaying it a little bit. Keyword being little bit, though, because that castle will go up for Vinch. I wanted to check resources collected. Really bad time. But yeah, Vinchester collected more. Sorry to look away at that time, but I said I would. And whoops. Okay, now we're going to see some fishing in the south from running. Another thing I'm curious on here for running is, will he fish trap? A lot of players forget about that, and then they run out of fish. So he's got more than enough fish there. We'll see. Vinchester's got some dirty micro, so I can see Mangudai working really well for him. As he drops the town center here, very risky. Drops the town center here, very risky. And running is here to kill more fish. So he hasn't forgotten about the water. He doesn't have the wood at the moment. Oh, no way. Oh, you're kidding. It's at 85. 89. Oh, it's a doubt TC. Oh, my goodness. Some crazy eco KDs for running right now. 12 to 1 eco KD. And it could be more if he gets that dock up, but he's clearly forgotten that for the time being, and now he's going back for it. That dock position is not going to work for you there, buddy. Awkward. But there he goes. Guys, running is on 3 TCs. He's going to take out Vinchester's... Well, he's not going to deny this anymore. But he's going to take out Vinchester's fish. Vinchester does have Mangudai, though. But running is on stone with this town center to drop a castle and maybe go for golems. I mean, I'll have to say it again because it's my job. But reminder that Vinchester won the first season, right? Like, beat Hera in a semifinal 4-2. Beat Veleza 4-3. Veleza had beaten the Viper. Like, we're talking like big deal. Vinchester, great shape. Also would have qualified for and been in those LAN events had he be able to make it, but he wasn't able to. So, like, some big events that have happened over the last 6 months. And running got promoted from gold. And people call him a clown. And he's looking good. With a fish boom in the south. Some aggression over here. And no fish traps just yet. And now I think it's his turn to make a castle on the town center, because the Mangudai number is pretty high. He is getting ballistics for his crossbows, though. I mean... He did get value from his crossbows. Remember, I questioned the crossbow and bodkin arrow choice. So I kind of want to question ballistics too, but it's not a bad upgrade to have. Mangudai mass is one of the most important things with the Mongols, though, and Vinchester's working his way towards it. And let's see. Oh, no way. Oh, I like it because he knows that Vinchester's down here, but oh, shoot. You better micro those crossbows they're running. Vinchester has to come back to try and stop that, right? Maybe he can't. That's too many villagers building it. Was dropping a siege workshop here, so that's not really going to offer much value. Ballistics here, not offering much either just yet, but getting some help as Vinchester runs away. I like that. Oh, those aren't the Mangudai. Okay, I thought Vinchester was going to send his Mangudai to the shoreline to take out the ships and the fish, but that hasn't happened. And running's now going to fish on the right side. So he went from 1 pond to 3 pond. 32 to 17 KD. 17, make it 18 to 2 eco KD. And Vinch doesn't know what to do, man. Now, running hasn't farmed at all. And doesn't have horse collar. He's going to fish trap now. But I just noticed the lack of food. So he's going to solve that, I guess. But man, does he have a lot of villagers. I'm very impressed. Also, these palisades keep making me want to look down there. Running, if you could kill them with your fire ships, that would be really helpful. And Vinchester didn't know where the army was going to be, and Vinchester now losing more villagers. What in the world? This is crazy play from running. The crossbowmen have more than paid for themselves now. And the long-term unit comp you probably want here is the Golem. It's an anti-archer unit. I haven't actually seen Golem against Mangudai, at least with full upgrades yet. I've seen the Golem a lot against like crossbowmen and plumed archers and whatnot. Let me put it to you this way. If the roles were reversed, this is 100% GG. Like, if Vinchester had this position, game over. Like, there's absolutely no way that running could come back. Because it's Vinchester, I'm giving him a chance here. But this is potentially one of the biggest shocks that we'll end up having here in the first week of Titans League already. Vinchester, though, is going to break in. I like how running placed the stone walls before all this happened. So he knew that this was a possibility. But he still could lose. Oh, no, 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 no. Oh, no. Wait, what? Wait, what? Hold on. What? I'm sorry? What percentage was that at? Okay, so he just started placing it. Okay. All right. Well, good awareness then. Vinchester's going to come over here for a castle. I think running wants to drop it in his base. I think that's why he did it. Yeah, so initially I was like, how did he know the army was coming in? That actually works out for him. He's going to lose villagers here, but he needs a castle at home. I caught the tail end of that, so I thought he deleted it at like 80% or something. Running just doesn't have army now. He's really... No, he's just not relying on the golems. Like, maybe he knows something that I don't. I'm a little shocked to see he didn't invest into armor and invest into golems here. Also, Vinchester. Dude, Vinchester. Bro, you should always go for the fish traps there. That should be 7 fish traps and 7 fishing ships down. That is 100% a misplay from him because of the trying to come back and not thinking about the simple moves sometimes when you're trying to play so complicated to come back in a game. That allows running to wall this up. That's a pretty big deal there. The biggest concern that running has right now, guys, is gold access. He actually only has this gold. He has no relics. He would love a castle here, I'm sure, for this gold. And we'll probably see him use the market. You can see Vinch is used a lot in this game. But Vinch is back in this game, man. Vinch is back in this game. I think what running's thinking is he wants to click up to Imp before he makes the golems. And there he goes. And there's a desperation TC. It feels like this TC has to go up. We've got 13 Mangudai for Vinchester, who could be on castle number 3 soon. And he's got a lot of map control. Vinchester is officially back in this game. Can running close it? He did everything that he could to get to a winning position, but he hasn't been able to maintain control. He's got horse color coming in now. He's really late to that, really late to some of these farms. He does, however, have gold. And he's got 2 castles. And here he sees the Mangudai. Vinchester's dodging ballista. Just doing crazy things that I wouldn't have time for. Vinchester shows up to the gold, running garrisons. Messy stuff here for running. He still has that lead, Vinchester. What does he make against golems? So here's the thing. If you're making Mangudai, you want to get Bracer and Chemistry and Elite. But I think... I don't know. I'm thinking, if the game goes on long, maybe Hussar, right? Or like Step Lancer or something. For the time being, I really like this castle from Vinchester, though. I prefer it be on the gold. Like, officially denying that gold. But I guess then you give up the hill, which you don't want to do, so he could use the Mangudai to deny the gold. It's not like Vinchester has the gold income to go for Lancers and Mangudai. But, I mean, he could choose to go Lancers if he feels like he's going to lose his castles. I think at the very least, the control that he has here and here is amazing. He's got good vision over this gold. And, for running, things have started to fall apart a little bit for him here. Though he still is 110 bills. Like, he doesn't have control over the game, but he somehow has so much eco. And now he sees the castles there from Vinchester as well. That was a bit of a weird one from Vinch, right? So I could see why he wouldn't expect that. All right, Treb from this castle for running. Treb from this castle. Now, what this does is it stalls his production of Golems. There's a massive difference between regular Golem and elite Golem because Hindustanis don't get the final armor, and yet the Golem gets 8 pierce armor when elite. And their max pierce armor is 5, so they get plus 3 pierce armor from regular to elite. So elite is kind of the deal breaker. Elite is what changes things. Vinch is very low on wood, I'm noticing. And he's pulling a lot of villagers here to repair. That's 13 vills. A lot of villagers here running for stone. He honestly isn't going to have wood. Unless he, you know, he's probably sending more to wood right now, and he could always change it, but... Oh god, Vinchester always tried to take the trebs. Mangudai have a bonus against siege. That's why he sent the vills, guys. He thought he could keep this up, and he will take out the treb there. Still obviously has some work to do to take this treb out. That'll be more difficult because the TC could be garrisoned, and now elite Golem's in. There's still not many of them. Vinchester, great job to bring this game back. Running, obviously, incredible castle age, like one of the best castle ages he could have ever asked for here. I hear Vinchester with a quick garrison could kill these Golems. He's focused, though. Now he sees it. They will die, so he'll be back on wood there. Vinchester sticking with Mangudai. When he's got a castle on this side of the map, a castle in the middle. I guess he does still have 2 at home. And here he comes. Bracers in. He's underneath the TC. He believes in the Mangudai, and he gets another treb, but at what cost? He lost like 6 Mangudai. I think it's actually worth it for running. Who does have fully upgraded in defense Golems now. It's just he hasn't been able to produce many of them. By the way, it says he has 46 on gold. There's no way that's actually the case, right? How does he have 45 on gold? Oh. Okay, that answers that question. Yeah, so that shows like how awkward it is for him with gold control at the moment. I think now that elite Golem's in, the castle will definitely go down, which could allow running to shift over to take this castle next. Now, what this does do is it gives Vinchester time. Well, it depends on how running treats it, actually. Running could go raid Vinchester, so, which is what he should do. So, but yeah, I mean, in theory, this gives Vinchester time to, like, fall back a little bit, mass more Mangudai, and prep for something else. As for if he'll be able to afford something else, I'm not too sure. It feels like these trebs should actually just go here now and take this out. I don't know, man. Running's got more villagers still. Running has double the army, and he has 32 elite Golems. I think Running's going to take this game. All on the back of the amazing castle age. He did have some cracks in the armor. He was stubborn. Didn't want to make many Golems. Vinchester with some disgusting quick walls. These are the moments you've got to look to for Vinchester to stay alive. Look at that. As he will track this, hopefully, and he's up to 21 Mangudai now. But these Mangudai are doing 2 damage a hit right now. It's not a lot of damage. The trebs are going this way for running. He's finally going to get access to this gold. Vinchester's still trying to castle all these extra stones and golds. But I like how running went to immediately raid Vinchester, and then his trebs aren't really in harm's way. Beautiful quick walls from... Oh, no! No! He quick walled it, but the villagers left the gate open. Oh, no. He's got so many other things to worry about. Oh, you dumb villagers. Oh, well, I can't blame him for that. Hey, the gate's closed now. Okay, it's all fine. It's fine. Meanwhile, you know, Vinchester's microing and doing everything else, so he doesn't realize that happened. He's going to lose this castle. He's going to lose the villagers in the Mangudai. Because of this house, running is now going to know about this castle, so he could take that down as well. And Vinchester's still got 16 Mangudai that he's going to worry about. But, I mean, there's idols everywhere for the guy, right? And he's still wide open for raids. Like, if running were to go here, villagers die. I'm not seeing an eco behind this either where Vinchester can realistically tech switch into something else. And if you go for stable units, the Hindustanis can obviously go for their camels too, so it's really tricky. But I mean, Running's just got a mega boom. 150 eco. And he'll have full control of anything he wants at this point. More villagers getting picked off here. Look at Running's vision, guys. Look how much of the map he sees. Raid here, clearing up here, clearing up here. Only thing we're missing from Running is a little shift to this gold. And I have faith that he's probably going to do that soon. Look at Vinchester. And he might have handcart, which Running doesn't even have wheelbarrow, but Running doesn't seem to care about that too much. As Running is fully popped, 200 pop, against the winner of Season 1 Titans League. And this guy is just moments away from getting an insane victory. Now, everyone who knows Running knows that he has the quality to be able to take games off of Vinchester. But it is a tourney. But maybe there's no better time than the first week, right? Maybe there's a bit of time off for the holidays. Vinchester doesn't feel the need to do a lot of prepping and practicing. Running, on the other hand, he got promoted. He wants to show people what he's capable of. And everybody else is going to have to face Vinchester as well in the group. So getting 2 wins off of Vinch is a game changer. And he does go to that gold. Vinchester is playing on like he just cannot believe what's happening now. He is going to try and go Lycav. But he's going to lose another castle. And this is over. Running, who was one of the promoted players from Gold League, starts off Titans League with a bang. Sick game. I mean, he had a really good map, but he played it so well. And there was some sloppiness from Vinchester that Running was able to take advantage of. I would not have put this on my list of upsets. Not that I had a list of upsets. Running maybe time to... delete a couple villagers as well. It looks like he's kind of managed that a little bit. And he's just picking Vinchester apart. Denied the left from Vinch. He has to kind of avoid this main group. Actually, he's choosing not to avoid the main group. And confidently moving in, as he will add stables. And thinking about switching into some camels. Yeah, Bruh versus Yo all over again. Thank you for reminding me of that. Yeah, I remember Bruh beating Yo 2-1 in the first week. It's true. But, yeah, it has a similar vibe to it, I guess, right? And I think we could potentially see a little bit more of this, too. It's just what player is going to be in shape and really... if you really practice something and you really prepare, week 1 is definitely your time. Look at the amount of... eco units on each resource right now. 53 on food and 46 on gold for Running. It's insane. Yeah. What Mangudai? And Fitch gets conscription. Like, it's not going to help him here. Holy freaking moly, man. Running wins 2-1. 2 unanswered wins against Vinchester. He obviously looked super good on Regicide Fortress, which I think everyone who knew Running would have predicted. But he wins on Cross, Vinchester's home map. A map that Vinchester's known very well and has always played very well with. Now, I think, if you look at the starting map gen, if you're looking at 2 even players, this map, it happens like 1 every 50 generations, and this is the map that you choose, right? This is the map that you want. Running knew it. He walled up real early. So much harder to play in Vinchester's position playing open. But you got to question Mongols a bit. I should probably never say never, but the last time I've seen Mongols played on this map is probably like 3 or 4 years ago. There's plenty of other civilizations that could be picked, played, and I think there's more bonuses at play. And then also Vinchester, I mean, he lost a villager trying to go out to dock here. Running sniped that with his starting scout. And then the most impressive thing for me is not so much how Running played safe, because anyone can do that, right? I can do that. But remember, he lost a villager going down here to Vinchester's scout. I would give up. He sent a spearman and 2 more villagers, went right back and killed the fish here, looped that into a couple minutes later, killing the fish over here. On the back of 3 town center economy, timed a castle nicely where it went on Vinchester's main gold, so Vinchester couldn't take that. And this is all up against Vinchester making Mangudai, which is one of the better unique units in the game. Vinchester got the castle up soon after he reached Castle Age. But it was like as he was trying to focus on the Mangudai, Running took the other things, and then Vinch was out of position one time, and then suddenly there was a castle on his face. That was very, very well done. Now, I'm going to say another thing. This is week 1. Look at the draft. Now, probably not a map where you think let's ban Hindustanis because or not a draft because you don't see them picked a lot for Fortress or Nomad or Cross. But maybe if that's a problem, you either pick it earlier or you ban that bad boy out. But we did see Hindustanis lose earlier to Frank, so apparently Frank's over Hindustani, so who knows. But yeah, we've seen that civilization quite a few times already. But we added more globals, guys, because I wanted to see a little bit more variety in our play. So great series there. Running shakes it up in Group A. And that is such an amazing result for him because, like I said, Vinchester's now going to be woken up a little bit and we'll have a better form Vinchester or a Vinchester who needs to deliver playing against everybody else in Group A. And Group A, for those that are wondering, I'm going to put up on your screen. Bum, 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 bum. Ah, yes, we are actually going to be casting more Group A next. We're going to be casting Doubt and ACCM. But Group A is stacked, man. I mean, they all are, but the other players in Group A are Nikov, Doubt, ACCM, and Valis. So, okay, Vinchester might go in as the favorite in those other sets, like the slight favorite because everyone's really good. Running getting 2 wins is $80 in his pocket, and he's beaten the best player, at least based on Season 1. And a play all 3, excuse me.